So today we got a question from Nina, who's experiencing something that I think is something most of us experience at some point, and it can be a big problem. So check it out. So she says that she stopped training for about a year in jiu-jitsu because of the pandemic stuff, and it sort of coincided right around the time that she got her blue belt. She says that the blue belt blues curse is real. Well, later on, she picked back up in training, May of this year, started training, and she even competed in the Master Worlds. Now, leading up to the Master Worlds, she watched a bunch of my videos to deal with the anxiety and the nervousness that she was having, and she said that eventually she got out there, competed, and she didn't win the competition, but she was satisfied with her performance. She was happy with how it went overall, right? Which is a good thing. Not a bad thing at all, right? So she was satisfied with the performance. Now, here's the problem. She says that now that the competition's over, I feel like my motivation for training has come to a screeching halt. I mean, I still train consistently, but I feel like I don't have that drive like I had before the competition. Maybe it's just the holiday season. So that is her question to me, right? Like, how do you deal with this lack of motivation, and why is this happening? So check it out, Nina. I said in the beginning of this video that that's something everyone experiences, I think, because I've experienced it a ton. I know that when I was a white belt you can go back to wrestling and all this stuff, but let's say 18, 19, 20, when I was getting into jiu-jitsu and fighting, it's probably the most applicable to you, right? When I was getting into all this stuff, I would always experience that feeling, because I would get ready for the competition. And when the competition's getting ready, that feeling of being motivated for a target, for a goal that you find meaningful, there's nothing like it. It's addictive. It's intoxicating because it'll wake you up in the morning early to do what you need to do. It'll keep you up late thinking about the thing. It's a great feeling. And so I would be getting ready for these competitions and these fights, and then I'm ramping up, and then the fight would happen, and then like the next couple of weeks following that, sometimes even a month, depending on how intense that whole experience was, I would be in this like lull. I would still be training consistently like you, but I would be not as motivated. I wouldn't train as consistently or train as intensely. I would partake in maybe not so good foods, right? Because my weight cut was over, and now I wanted to eat some bad food a little bit. And overall, I felt kind of lazy because for me, I've always been this way, and this isn't really a good thing. I'm kind of a productivity junkie. I just want to be like I'm moving forward, right? We all want to have that sort of forward progression as people. Having trouble speaking today. And so, that would be going on. That's a problem, by the way. And so I would struggle with this. Now, I noticed something. I noticed two things. One, if I tried to push through this, so instead of allowing things to have their natural rhythm, it's almost like a wave, right? The wave builds up, comes up to the peak, crashes onto the beach, and then it pulls back and recedes, right? There's this natural rhythm to it. If I tried to fight that rhythm by training hard and basically saying, okay, well, I was training this hard when I was motivated. I'm not motivated right now, and nothing's on the horizon, but I just want to feel like I'm being productive. I'm going to train like I was. I would always either run into an injury, or I would begin to have this feeling of burnout to the point where I didn't even want to do it. But then I noticed that if I would just relax a little bit and almost enjoy the ride, right? Just enjoy this feeling of really not pushing myself as hard, let my body recover from all the hard, strenuous training, recover from the nervous system has to recover because I just got done fighting a grown man in a cage or going through this 2-day tournament or whatever it was. If I allowed that to naturally sort of happen, it was always interesting because it never failed where all of a sudden, oh, there's something I'd like to do. There's a goal in front of me. And I would find another goal. And then all of a sudden I would start to ramp back up again, like the wave. It would just start to pull back, and then the wave would come back. And it's been this way also too with like business related stuff, where sometimes we'll set goals in the business, and when I hit the goal, it's great, and then the motivation happens. But if I stay consistent and I just ride the wave back, I tend to find things there later on that are meaningful to me that I can shoot for later. And again, another analogy for you. One of my best friends was in the military, and he was telling me about one time when they were firing this automatic belt-fed gun, right? I don't know why they were firing it, whether it was a training exercise or if it was in a battle, but they were firing this weapon, and he said they fired the darn gun so long that the barrel became like glowing, like red hot, and just started to like wilt a little bit, right? Started to bend. Well, luckily they could eventually just swap the barrel off and they could keep using the gun. Humans don't really have that ability. We can't just swap the barrel out. You can't just change things. If you keep firing, you're going to run into burnout. So if you keep pushing yourself and feeling self-conscious or beating yourself up over this feeling, like I used to and have done in the past, you're going to burn out like I did in the past. But if you let off the trigger, let the thing cool a little bit, you can keep using it and it's okay. It's the same thing with us. If you allow this sort of, after these big events happen, if you just back off the pedal a little bit, just let go of the trigger for just a second. A lot of times what happens is you let your body recover, you let everything just kind of get back to normal. And then a lot of times little goals and things like that. I feel like goals, at least in my experience, meaningful, worthwhile targets that I want to go after, they tend to show themselves when I'm in a more relaxed state, when I'm just chilling out. All of a sudden things pop up in front of me. I'm like, oh, that's what I want to go after. This is like why I take solo vacations from time to time by myself, where I'm just going to go by myself somewhere. And it's in those moments where I tend to find my best ideas moving forward with my life because I'm in a very relaxed state. And so I think that you should, just like you felt good being motivated for this thing, I know it's tough sometimes not being motivated because that feeling's addictive. It's intoxicating, right? But be okay with feeling relaxed. Be okay with just being consistent. Be okay with all that, because a lot of times you'll find your next thing on the horizon if you're in that more relaxed state, opposed to trying to beat yourself up because you don't feel like this 100% all the time. So that's at least what's been useful to me. So again, just relax a little bit. Don't worry about it, and give yourself time to cool down from everything that happened. And then again, find your goal on the horizon as it shows itself. So Nina, hopefully that video is helpful to you. Hopefully that answer gives you something to chew on. And guys, I'll talk to you next time.